Worn properly, PPE, personal protective equipment, can save you from lots of pain or even death. Worn improperly or not at all, the results can be devastating. PPE is designed to protect you from workplace hazards, but you have to wear it. Wear it correctly, maintain it properly, and replace it when it's worn out or broken. PPE is for you. It's for your protection. Both the employer and the employee have certain responsibilities regarding PPE. Your employer is responsible for selecting the proper PPE, training you on its use, and making sure you wear it. OSHA says the employer shall ensure that the selected PPE is worn.
As it's used in the OSHA standards, whenever the word shall appears, it generally means that that's a mandatory requirement. Where it says shall ensure, it's implying that the employer must make sure that his employees use and properly apply personal protective equipment. A lot of employers will use incentive programs, and some will use a system of rules and disciplinary action to get their employees to use the equipment properly.
But why should they have to? It's for your protection. If it doesn't fit right or it gets in your way, bring it to the attention of management. Handle it that way rather than just not wearing it at all. As an employee, you also have responsibilities regarding PPE. The 5 things you need to do are: 1. Wear your assigned PPE. 2. Wear your assigned PPE correctly. 3. Know the limitations of your assigned PPE. 4. Take good care of your assigned PPE. And 5. Attend and pay attention during PPE training. Let's talk about your first responsibility, to wear the PPE your employer has selected. Your employer also determines when and where you have to wear it, but it's your responsibility to actually wear it. If you're working with hazardous chemicals that could splash on you, wear the right gloves, chemical goggles, and a face shield. If you work around flying particles, wear impact safety glasses. If something heavy could fall or be dropped on your toes, wear steel-toed shoes. Your second responsibility is to wear the PPE correctly. If it's not worn correctly, it won't do you any good. PPE manufacturers supply written instructions that tell you how to wear the PPE correctly. Have you ever read that information? You need to. Proper use will also be covered in your PPE training. You have to know and demonstrate how to put the PPE on, take it off, maintain, and wear it properly. Here are some examples of how to properly wear some common types of PPE. To properly insert earplugs, reach around the back of your head and pull upward and outward on the ear while inserting the plug until you feel it sealing. With formable plugs, roll and compress the foam plugs into a thin cylinder before inserting. To properly put on a half-mask respirator, grasp the front with one hand and the upper headband with your other hand. Place the lower edge of the front of the respirator under your chin. Position the nose piece on your nose bridge. Then place the cradle suspension system on your head so the top headband rests across the top of your head. The bottom headband on the cradle suspension should rest above your ears on the back of your head. Hook the strap around your neck below your ears. Then adjust the face piece and headbands for fit and comfort. Perform a user seal check prior to each use of a half-mask respirator. Place the palms of the hands over the filters. Inhale and hold your breath for about 5 seconds. If the face piece collapses slightly and no air leaks are detected, a good fit has been obtained. Then place one of your hands over the exhalation valve and simultaneously exhale. If the face piece bulges slightly and no air escapes, a tight fit has been obtained. If either test fails, reposition the face piece, readjust the tension on the head harness straps, and retest. When putting on a filtering face piece respirator, cup the respirator in your hand with the nose piece at your fingertips. The bottom strap needs to end up around your neck below your ears. The top strap needs to end up at the top back of your head. Place your fingertips from both hands at the top of the metal nose piece. Using 2 hands, Mold the nose area to the shape of your nose by pushing inward while moving your fingertips down both sides of the nose piece. To check the fit, place both hands completely over the respirator and exhale. Be careful not to disturb the position of the respirator. If air leaks around the nose, readjust the nose piece or the straps. With safety glasses, make sure the safety glasses you wear have intact side shields.
There are no specific procedures for putting on or taking off some other types of PPE like safety shoes or gloves. However, there is a specific procedure for removing gloves that have chemical or biological hazards on them. Always remember that if you don't get it in you or on you, it can harm you. Now, here's the proper procedure for removing contaminated gloves.
Pinch the inside or palm side of one of the gloves. Begin to peel that glove off, but not all the way. Now, using the inside of that partially removed glove, remove the other glove. Using your bare hand, grasp an area of the partially removed glove that did not come into contact with the other glove and peel it off. Dispose of gloves properly in designated areas where applicable.
Your third responsibility concerning PPE is to know the limitations of the PPE you're wearing. Every item of PPE is designed for a specific purpose, and you have to know what it will and will not protect you against. For example,
a filtering facepiece respirator will only protect you from breathing in particulate matter such as dusts, fumes, and mists. This type of respirator will not protect you from chemical vapors or gases. You need to wear a half-mask respirator with the proper chemical cartridges for that. Cartridges are specific for different types of chemicals. For protection from organic vapors, such as toluene or xylene, you have to use organic vapor cartridges. For protection from acid gases, you'll need a respirator with cartridges approved for use with acid gases. It is the responsibility of your employer to choose the correct type of respirator and cartridge for you based on the chemicals you might be exposed to. Here are some other limitations of PPE. An SCBA, or self-contained breathing apparatus, has a limited amount of air in the tank, usually 15 to 30 minutes. When the air is gone, there is none left for you to breathe. And it is not an SCUBA, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus used for diving. So don't take your SCBA to the lake and try to scuba dive with it. It will not work. Respirators with a face seal cannot be worn with a beard because it is impossible to get a good face-to-respirator seal. If you're wearing a filtering face piece or dust mask, don't burn or cut a hole in it for your cigarette. Doing that makes the mask completely ineffective. Gloves are selected on the basis of the type of hazardous substance you're handling. Latex exam gloves, worn to protect the hands from blood and body fluids, are not appropriate to use with strong chemical disinfectants. Safety glasses designed for protection from impact hazards, such as flying particles, will not protect you from strong chemicals. Some chemicals will melt the plastic lenses. For protection against chemical splashes, you need face shields or goggles designed for chemical resistance.
taking proper care of your personal protective equipment is your fourth responsibility.
Protect the equipment from excessive heat, cold, moisture, contaminating chemicals or particulates, and filth. You can also keep your safety glasses scratch-free much longer by simply storing them in a plastic sandwich bag when not in use. Don't abuse your PPE or store it in such a manner as to cause it to take on an abnormal shape. Inspect all components of the PPE before each use to look for damage or wear, and replace parts when necessary. Clean and sanitize the PPE that is not designed for single use. Let your supervisor know if your PPE needs to be repaired or replaced.
The fifth responsibility of the PPE wearer is to attend and pay attention to the training class put on by your employer. That's where you'll learn additional information about the PPE that's specific to your workplace.
If you sleep through the training, it won't do you any good. So let's review. As an employee, you have 5 responsibilities regarding PPE. 1, wear your assigned PPE. 2, wear your assigned PPE correctly. 3, know the limitations of your PPE. 4, take good care of your PPE. And 5, attend and pay attention during PPE training. Remember, PPE is for your protection. Wear it and maintain it properly so you can go home after each shift safe and healthy.